Wedget Ragdoll Stone.
Beautiful. So when you see Ragdoll getting banned out here, you know they're going to be going probably more on the aggressive side where they don't want their opponent to be cutting in now. So Ragdoll pre-banned, no surprise here. Wedget being pre-banned, we already talked about this. We knew it was happening. Priority picks here, hovering over a Laura.
Yeah, and the Laura is a really good pick here, especially when you consider they pre-banned the Ragdoll. Vince has got a plan in mind, doesn't want them getting a ton of incidental attack bar. The light Ivor Stoic, this is a pseudo Ragdoll that gains attack bar at the end of every single turn.
This is a extremely interesting unit. I know it's good. I know it's something that I want a lot of people to have their eyes on this unit. Obviously being paired up with an Oliver, we knew the Oliver was going to be hitting the table here. Now, if it's like pseudo Ragdoll, you obviously know how powerful that Tian Lang is. And it looks like they're going with a double strip and kind of showing why they banned out that Ragdoll already. So I'm definitely expecting to see high aggression for the rest of Vincent's draft here out. Diligent definitely taking he swapped his footing right now. We're looking at a Juno and we're looking at a Wusa.
Yeah, he did. He kind of swapped it up a little bit here. And so there it is. That's ultimately the question that's being asked right now is Vincent has a lot of setup. We got to see the payoff. Chung Peng is a little, it's a foot in both sides right now. Chung Peng's the setup. He's the facilitator. He's also the payoff stoic.
Yeah, definitely. I think the draft is definitely fine for Vincent here. I do like that sustain draft there. You know what, Juno and Veramos, that might be the way to go, to be honest with you. It's so crazy seeing all the things that Diligent can bring to the table, and we're going to get this free-to-play Veramos at the field.
The Veramos, and then a little ban on the Tian Lang feels right to me. I think those bans feel pretty natural. Speed leads are taken, and I would be very surprised if Laura didn't take turn 1 with that 120 base speed right now, stuff.
Yeah, let's see it, because he technically should be. But that is a very fast light Eivor with a big stun as well. But seeing the Despair stuns, can't confirm if that's going to be a Despair Water Read just yet. The third skill's happening here. Buffs are coming up. Lot of additional damage, man. Holy cow.
A ton of additionals. That was a statement of an opener right now. And Chung Peng's here to clean up Wusa's third skill right away. Let's see if Diligent can clap back with the skill 2 from Juno, gets the vast majority, the lion's share of the buffs off the enemy team.
Yeah, most definitely. Nice little Despair stun sitting on top of that Laura as well, which is super, super nice. Let's see who Diligent's going to be prioritizing right now. So it is going to be a little bit of damage, not a ton, obviously. And it looks like Nephthys is the unit that he really wants to get rid of, which is quite interesting because obviously we have the Juno on the field here, and we know Juno doesn't mind the Nephthys too much.
Yeah, things are really going well in terms of Diligent's game plan here. Nephthys is reset, which means the pressure is off. The real thing that we're concerned about right now is if Laura was to proc. Looks like we successfully dodged it for now. Little bit of an awkward turn coming out from Ivor, but she still manages to land the defense breakstone.
Yep, there's a lot of sustain here for Diligent. We've got that Juno, we've got that Bruce's second skill, so I think Diligent is definitely in an okay place here. Vincent really looking to kind of set something back. I think he just needs like a Violence Proc, Despair Stun or something like that to really get the ball rolling here, but once he loses this Chung Peng, he's definitely going to be on the back foot for sure.
Absolutely, and you saw there too, Vincent had like that opener, the Toy Knight. This was kind of the window to make something happen. Meanwhile, Diligent has nothing but breathing room right now. He's got sustain for days. He's got attack bar gain. Chung Peng's probably on the way out the door here. I think he's weighing the benefit of trying to go for a stun, and the Madman gets it.
Gets the stun is insane. He should be definitely finishing off that Chung Peng here. You know, you have an opportunity to take out a unit, go for that, because your Oliver's going to be prioritizing the... It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. That's crazy. Beautiful stun there on top of the Laura.
Stoic, this is the gameplay of someone who knows that he's far ahead right now. Every single move that Diligent's making right now just shows how confident he is. He knows just how far in advance he's playing. He knows he's turns ahead of this guy. He's cycling ahead of Vincent. And he can make these moves, these dangerous, risky moves where he goes for Despair stuns on more instead of confirming kills.
That's just crazy. You know, that's it. You know, call it luck, but you know what? This is just a much safer draft for Diligent. He came in here and brought the correct units, I definitely would say, especially when it comes to having so many things on the table. Like, I think, in my opinion, this is one of those matches where it's like, you thought you could predict your opponent. You thought you knew it was going to be coming there. I mean, Diligent, you drafted some left field stuff, man, that really worked. A lot of them, great counter picks for Baramos to Juno. Even Wusa, I thought Wusa was quite interesting. Then there was just so many beneficial buff removers on the other side of the field, and still took the Wusa
we
in
can
there and,
we can call them what
utilized
they
that
are.
unit
So
so well. There we go. Yeah, strippers.
there's brought a lot of strippers. Now that's the thing, because Diligent just brought, the light Ivor, of course, was such a fun pick to see out of context, right? But cycling through that much attack bar is great. He had room to breathe. That's the part of this sort of RTA, this high-level RTA that I love to watch, because you start to see personality shine through, even in like just how they decide to play, and then a lot of risk assessment too. It's kind of like you said, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want. In that situation, I call it risk assessment. He saw like my risk level is very low if I go for this stun right now versus going for a kill. So might as well just go for it. I think what Vincent really needs to do, if he's trying to draft something that's similar to that Stoic, I would like to see a more direct payoff, because basically he just brought strip on strip on strip and nothing to follow up.
Yep, that's right. I mean, that's kind of how we felt when we saw him wrap up that draft with like the Chung Pung there, where you're like, you have all of this, all strips out there, and it's like, what are you setting up for? He was just setting up for just more strips and lots of attack bar manipulation, but it really didn't work out in his favor, especially where, Diligent had that sustain that he brought to the table there in the form of Juno and that Wusa. So made it really difficult for him to draft and try to figure that one out there, but well done, Diligent. It was a very well-rounded draft for him. New pre-bans getting locked in here. That Nephthys that Diligent was trying to prioritize removed from the field, he already pre-banned it, doesn't have to worry about it. Laura, of course, getting pre-banned as well.
Yeah, you can almost assume that Laura and Wedgehead are more than likely just going to be taking turns in the pre-ban sector. However, look at this. Diligent locking in the Moor right off the bat.
This actually doesn't surprise me, because Diligent for the longest time has been prioritizing this unit in a lot of his drafts as well, and he is a very, very fast. I want to say it's Despair, and it's fast, dude, on Despair. I don't think it's a crazy. He could have a crazy fast, swift water reader more, but I believe it is still Despair, and it's insane.
I can't wait to see that. Yeah, for judging based on just the limited gameplay we've seen in this tournament so far, we've already seen Diligent do really well on Despair, and we know that these guys have just the absolute craziest runes available. And this is really something right here. I don't think we called it out in round one, but this is legend versus legend. Both of these guys are fighting for a repeat title right now. So there's a lot on the line in theory here. They really want to move forward, and they're probably each other's biggest obstacles.
Yeah, most definitely. Vincent's legend title goes way back, though, like to the point where maybe a lot of us even forgot. By no surprise, Juno is going to be hitting the field here, of course, with the Phalantus on the other side of the field. But I'm sure Diligent definitely saw that was coming. And what do we say? Rakuni's going to make its way to the field no matter what. This is the meta. This is where we live now.
We were just talking about him. It's been all of 2 minutes since we were talking about Rakuni, and here he is. It's a good pick here. I'm a little hesitant on the Abellio unless we're guaranteed that we're like either getting rid of or we can just circumnavigate the third skill on Chung Pung, because Abellio's main weakness is just that third skill can get reset there, Stoic.
It definitely looks like that Chung Pung's probably getting the ban already, which is very dangerous when you don't even know what that fifth pick is going to be yet. But it looks like that's why he kind of wanted to lock in that Abellio himself, bring a little bit of sustain to the table. I mean, it's an interesting draft on the Veramos. I feel like he's predicting his Juno probably getting the ban, which isn't super surprising, but there is 3 water units on the other side of the field. I think he lets that Juno through with the ban on Veramos.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the ban on Vero, or like you called out earlier, the ban on Chung Pung. I think Chung Pung does offer just a ton of threat in this matchup here, considering there's so much water. And we see the Veramos and the Miles getting rid of the primary damage dealer. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm a little curious. It's almost like they swapped drafts right now, with now Vincent taking more of a supportive approach here. And I want to remind everybody watching, Diligent is sitting at match point right now. We're doing a best of 3 in the semifinals.
Yep, I do think it's going to be a really good response for Vincent here. I got to give him a little bit of credit. I feel like Juno's going to be way too good. I feel like the sustain's going to be way too good for Vincent. But we'll see what happens as this match progresses here and see if everything's going to be landing true for Diligent or does Vincent. He's able to clack back here, but we'll find out. We've got skills available. Just nice little taking advantage of defense break on that more.
Yeah, and lots of provokes out there, making sure that Diligent has the room to do this. Did he get the increased cooldown time, Stoic? I missed it there.
You know, I missed it as well, but it just might be the 4 a.m.
It might be the 4 a.m. talking, to be honest. We'll see in a second. We're speculating, but the fact of the matter is we'll see it in 2 turns here. Okay, Volantis sitting on that skill 2. Doesn't necessarily want to dump it because there's so much to be benefited from Vincent just from the healing there.
Yeah, I mean, Raccoony, Juno, Wedgette as well. There's a lot of sustain. Because Diligent is in a position where he's landing a lot of negative effects on the other side of the field. And Vincent's going to be healing up here. So it almost, I can't even call it a stalemate because, I mean, almost a stalemate. And the only reason I say this is because Vincent's got a ton of passive healing where Diligent needs to rely on a Baleo.
Exactly. I don't think I could have said it better myself. We're in for a bit of a long game right now, but like the writing is almost on the wall here because Vincent doesn't need to work nearly as hard to get his sustain as Diligent does. You pointed out a second ago, relying on a Belio is nowhere near as great as just passively relying on Wedgette, Juno, and Raccoony.
Yeah, especially when you've got this strong opponent that's able to reset and keep so much attack bar back, where, you know, he pushes all that attack bar and then what happens? Diligent just kind of has to eat it. But yeah, it's I more favor towards Vincent, obviously. But if Avelio is able to proc and, you know, keep up with the healing and everything like that, we could be looking at a stalemate. But we're also looking at a new Water Ryu form.
It's a battle of inches right now. Vincent going for the skill 2, just to go for that AoE chance to get Despair Stuns, and is rewarded on Volantis. And manages to give Wedgette the turret cleanse off the defense break, and Vincent Stoic somehow is looking like it's the start of the game.
Yeah, he really is. It's just so healthy. Like, a lot of people forget that Wedgette even heals based off of the negative effects on the field there. And we've got Cigar in this Volantis going to be providing a lot of that there. Man, yeah, Vincent in full control right now. He's just sitting way too pretty right now. He's not providing a lot of damage. But he's going to be healthy throughout this entire match.
Yeah, he's doing just fine. That Wedgette, like you called out, it does just a bit of everything. I mean, attack bar gain, attack bar push, buffs. It does cycling. It heals you. The monster just, he's a real toolbox. And he just accrues value while he sits there, which is frankly one of my favorite kind of units.
Really is. There's that serious matter. Honestly, the serious matter right there is kind of nail in the coffin. Like, if Diligent was kind of hoping for a ball rolling and getting killed off with the Abelia, it just wasn't going to happen there. So, serious matter. Oh, and there you go. It really was. Like, once the Abelio dropped, you knew that was going to be it there. Vincent with a really, really solid victory there. It was a great response going up against what Diligent brought to the table.
Absolutely, yeah. Just like the last one in the draft. Like, Vincent really turned that one around there. I wish that I could say what more went wrong for Diligent, because I want to tell him, yeah, you should have banned the Chung Punk, but to be honest, there's a couple other things in there. It's like, yeah, you need the Chung Punk, but you also need to get rid of maybe one other thing, or tech against one other thing. You need an answer for the Wedgette or the Raccoony, something like that. Even a Tessarion would have been great, considering that there wasn't any cleanse on the other field.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like what I wanted to see was some form of, like, even though a lot of the attack power was being pushed back or units were being stunned there, I feel like we needed to potentially see was a Camilla Fire Monkey style of play coming out of Diligent, because we know that is still very, very viable. Those are great units right now, where you don't care about you know, his very limited damage that he's trying to produce on the field, but you're able to capitalize on moments with like Camilla Fire Monkey.
Exactly. Here we go, everybody. We're going into the last round of our first match in the semifinals. Vincent versus Diligent. We will have a winner moving forward to the finals after this game. Here are our last round pre-bans, Laura and Nefties. Those are going to be going away for now. I'm imagining that Wedgette is going to be seeing some pre-ban here. I feel like I'm a broken record right now, Stoic, with that, but it's just so true and so deserved. That was a great showcase for it. I'm actually really glad he made it into a game, so that way people can kind of get a reminder for why he should be banned.
There we go. I was gonna say, like, I'd be disappointed in Vincent if he was gonna be banning out the Ragdoll again, because I feel like that's just not a unit that you really have to worry about. Tian Lang, I think, fits that bill perfectly for Diligent, so banning out the Tian Lang to no surprise. And Light Eivor, like, that's crazy, man. That unit's banned. It was super, super good for Diligent, though. He used it very wisely.
Yeah, it was a really good, it was a nice read on the pre-ban. It's a little obscure seeing it show up in the pre-ban, but like, if the Tian Lang was getting pre-banned, right, then, you know, it's like you want to pre-ban this thing that you were going to draft your Tian Lang to counter. It's pretty, I don't know if they were able to think through all those layers, but it was still a good one way or the other. There's Wedget Chung, and a quick response from Vincent, drafting the Moore and the Nefties.
Yeah, more Nefty's totally fine here. It looks like we're trying to really open up Diligent's team here to get that Curse of Beautiful off with the Neftis. And now this is where I would expect Vincent to try and bring like something to capitalize off of that Curse of the Beautiful, because I think Diligent here is probably going to go with, you know, showing that he is letting the Neftis through with draft, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a Juno and Volantis this time.
Nice. Oh, and Vincent, thinking about sniping the Veramos from him, instead opts to take the Raccoon and might just settle on banning 5th pick. I was just about to comment on I like the half in, half out approach that Diligent has taken. He's still very flexible. It didn't overcommit with like a Juno Veramos right back to back. I think he did a really good job with that. Vincent having a little bit of a hard time settling on this 5th monster.
Yeah, maybe it's been a while since he's had some tournament play here, but that's definitely like that. You always see that happen when it comes to people who haven't been super well versed in tournament play, because it's not like the ladder where you already have your game plan. You kind of go in there with it. But Masha Raccoon, I think Masha is very, very good, and we all think Raccoon is a phenomenal unit here. So we have our draft from Vincent and a rag. You know, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest with you. It's okay.
Did you say you're not a fan?
Ragdoll's okay.
It's
not
great
a
here.
Big fan of the Ragdoll. Yeah, it's great here. I don't know. I'm living in a world where I'm tired of stagnant units that aren't.
Wow, listen
Wow,
to that.
Listen,
listen to you.
My mouth.
You're so done with Ragdoll, and I find it hilarious, my guy. The bans go out. It was a Raccoon ban, by the way, and Vincent, by drafting the Masha, actually answered something that we talked about on the round 1. We wanted follow-up, and now he's got the follow-up. Let's see what Diligent can pull out here. Can he get a couple clutch despair stuns? Instead, he lands a very reliable, hopefully glancing. Let's see if Masha chooses to behave herself in a second here, because usually Mashas tend to crit no matter what, so.
Yep, that's right. Glancing is very, very solid for him to land that across the board as well. His Curse of Beautiful is going to come in pretty strong there, so Defense Break is landing on top of the Chung Pong, but that's for 2 turns. Even with that glancing, we might actually see that Chung Pong drop.
This could be real big right here. This could be Vincent taking the title away from Diligent right now. The glance! She behaved herself! Juno has the chance to turn this into TOA.
Didn't even Violent proc there. That's a lot of negative effects. Not getting the full strike on top of that Neftis either, though. Looks like a lot of attention going towards this lore. We're going to see even more negative effects hit the field again. So not a dismounted Masha. Oh no! Masha was not able to take out the Chung Pong. That's wild.
Every single hit was a glance. I've never seen Masha obey a glancing debuff like this before. We're in a position right now where this could kind of go either way. Diligent has flipped the script on Vincent, and now all these dots are actually putting him in a leading position. Let's see if Moore can get a clutch little kill right here.
Yep, he had to get that kill here. Would have been super scared to find out that it's built on Violent for a skill 2 to drop almost 3 units on that field. That would have been crazy to see there from Vincent, but let's see what happens, because that lore is definitely going to be dropping right now. I think Waterryu Moore is getting in a position of getting dropped out as well, but that Masha, even though it's dismounted, it's still really scary.
It is. It's real scary, and now he's got a choice. Does he go for the kill / stun? He got it!
Wow! He's able to Violent Wait, what?
Whoa. Dude, this exchange, that exchange was absolutely crazy. The anti-crit buff. This Masha, I've never seen a Masha obey debuffs like this before, Stoic. Every hit was a glance, anti-crit was a deciding factor, and Diligent walks away with a 2-1 versus Vincent. That was actually wild.
That was crazy. I think Masha was definitely going to be the unit to bring it home there. It was able to Violent proc, but wasn't critting. Like that was the biggest. That was so crazy.
And that's